So guys, thought as I haven't posted a video in probably 6 months with all my uni work and stuff, I thought post one to get back in the YouTubing side of things. I wanted to have a look at the new Astra Militarum, or as the book says on literally its first page, the Imperial Guard. So, though there has been a name change, it hasn't really stuck. It was a copyright thing, I'm hearing. That seems to be the thing going around. So, I don't mind the name change. There'll always be Guard. It's a shame the next generation of gamers who join will see him as the Astra Militarum, but to all us pre-6th edition, they're still Guard. And codex-wise, it's a good codex. Hearing from different people and different reviews, it's very balanced. For what it is, everything in it is priced pretty much bob on. And the one thing I know some of my mates were worried about was vendettas. And the big change for vendettas is the price change. They were, off the top of my head, about 100 points. 130, I think, off the top of my head, and have gone to 170. But when they were released, they were looked at as a skimmer with 3 twin-link last cannons, so 130 points wasn't too bad because they were a skimmer, so they'd get shot out of the sky in 10 seconds, a couple turns in and they'd be dead in 5th. With 6th edition becoming the flyer, they were dirt cheap for easily the best flyer in the game. Even the Crimson Hunter was struggling just because of the fact it was, you could take 3 of them in a squadron and whatever you wanted dead that turn died. 9 twin-link last cannons, and if you really wanted to, you could get like prescience and stuff on them, and it'd just be like 9 shots dead. Tanks, monstrous creatures, other flyers, they were just gone, dead in a couple of seconds. So 170 points for Vendetta is, in my eyes, perfectly fair for what they are, and you're definitely going to still see the spam of them easily. 170 points, so 3 of them are 510 points. So 510 points, you can still have 3 vendettas, and that's 3 single vendettas with the new price changes for different things. The whole vendettas with veterans in. If anything, what points you are paying extra for vendettas, you're saving on the veterans with different with the major upgrades such as the forward sentries, carapace armor, and then the melter specialists. All 3, well, 2 of the 3, I think. Yeah, grenadiers and forward sentries are both now 10, 15 points compared to the old 30. So 15 points to give a 10-man squad 4-up armor. Personally, I don't see the advantage because it's guardsmen and it's 60 points. If you wanted them, didn't want to take either of the other 2, you might as well just leave them as they are and let them be 15 points cheaper. That's a plasma gun if you wanted it. The way I think I'm going to run it, when I finally get back to my guard and finally looking to do some Death Corps of Creed, because I might trade some with a mate for Chaos Marines, I think I'll probably run them as forward sentries just because the rule doesn't say stealth, but it basically is stealth. If the unit, if those models with camo gear gain +1 to the cover save straight. The only thing I'm thinking is camo gear, it's been specific to a model, so if you add characters to it, they wouldn't get the bonus to a cover save, but you could just hide guardsmen around them. So the main one I saw it in was the company command squad, which is, again, you've got the commander and his 4 veterans. You give them camo gear, and let's say you've replaced the company commander with Creed or Strachan, and you've got the other 4. Those 4 veterans would get camo gear, the commander wouldn't, which is a bit sucky, really, but I can understand why, because then you'd be able to just go, Creed's now rocking around with a 3-up cover save behind Nagus, and then go to ground 2-up, and he just sits there and just goes, I don't know. It seems fair. The way I'm going to run mine is, I don't think I'll take mass vendettas. I don't see the point. I never like the idea of spamming guard. But then again, I only had one Vendetta, and I didn't really want to have to fork out for another 8 at that point. So, yeah. Right then, I'll get back onto an actual topic. Reading through the Codex, generally, the few things they've taken away, such as Alrahem, the Valhallan officer, and Marbo. Those are the 3 big ones I've noticed have gone. And the 2 officers weren't really massive changes, because I think I only used Alrahem because I was like, if I really wanted to play a bit more difficult with people, I'd take Creed and Alrahem, and I'd go Alrahem's platoon outflanks one turn, and then Creed made D3 units, I think off the top of my head, outflank. So you went, Alrahem comes hopefully in from one side with loads of guardsmen with special weapons, no heavies, because at that point they weren't being able to snap fire because it was back in 5th. And they'd flank him from one side and be like, they'd surprise people and hopefully take one side of the board. And then the other side you went Creed now outflanking a squadron of Leman Russes, and that was horrible. But yeah, Alrahem going isn't a huge thing. Oh, Chenkov, that's the name of the Valhallan. Again, no one used him, so I can't understand. I can understand why he went. He was a pointless character. The reason the people who did play them and you play them was for the conscript thing, where you could take 50 conscripts and just bring them back on, and that isn't. It's something where it wouldn't have been that very useful. That's just 3 kill points, because though 50 conscripts was scary, because well, they weren't as scary in last edition because you couldn't give them anything. They were leadership 5, and if you stuck a commissar in there, then yeah, but they were conscripts. They were 4 points a man. They were barely equal to a grot, and they just walked across the board, and they were cannon fodder. And I could understand fluff-wise why he had the ability to bring them back, but now it's just, it would have been kill points, because if someone's determined, they'll find a way of killing conscripts. 50 conscripts will go down eventually, and if you just brought them back on, I'm sure people would figure a way of getting rid of them again, and then it's just kill points at that point. So I don't see the problem with them going. The big one, which I'm sad to see go, was Marbo, because Marbo was a brilliant character, and he wasn't particularly competitive. He could be if he was played right, but generally he was just there for fluff-wise. Him popping out of cover, then demo charging a guy, and then running off again was hilarious. It was always fun to play as, and I can't see why he's gone. My prediction is it'll come back as a data sheet most likely, which is a bit of a shame because I can presume you're going to have to pay for it. So a character which was in the Codex and then gets taken out and becomes a data sheet would be a bit sucky. But we can hope. I hope he makes a return. It'd be nice if he did, but I'm not 100% he will. I think he'll have gone now, unless as I've said, put him on a data sheet and sell him that way, a bit like Cypher. What was I going to look at? Oh, the additions. The big one for me, which I'm really wanting to run, is the addition to the basic HQs, which isn't a name. Well, the way I run it's a name character, but he isn't. If you buy him basic, is tank commanders. This feels very like a tank commander. You buy a Lehman Russ, and you buy a tank commander for I think it's 30 points off the top of my head. Tank commander, yeah, 30 points for it, and stick him in a tank commander, and it ups it to BS4, and it becomes your HQ. If you take, so if you wanted to, you don't take any other HQs, just take a Lehman Russ, and that's your Warlord. And you go, I now have if you stick him in one of the Demolisher variants, you get him at 14, 13, 11, armor-wise. So you sit him at the back, stick him in, I don't know, Vanquisher, or probably not Exterminator, because there's a chance of it glancing itself to death, but I'm thinking of putting him in a Punisher, upgrade the tank commander to Pask, and then the Pask's abilities on top of being a tank commander is his ability to make. He has a special ability per tank that makes it better. So battle cannons, vanquishers, and eradicators reroll to hit off the top of my head. What else did he do? The one I'm taking it for is a Punisher, which gives it rending. So you take a Punisher with 3 heavy bolters and Pask, and it's a great choice just for what it is. 20 shot, strength 5 rending, ballistic skill 4. So you lose it. It makes Punishers very useful. Before it's scary because you can make people take 8 or 9 armor saves, but it wasn't terrifying. Now you can hurt anything up to armor 13 generally, because if you get enough rending hits also you can use it against flyers, which is nice. Shoot up to flyer, you're hitting on 6s, but if you have prescience on it, rerolls with 20 shots, and then you need 6s, generally followed by a 1-up at that point to glance. So flyers, it's useful. You don't have to take Hydras because you can just have one of them and sit at the back and just blaze away to flyer for a turn. It'll do damage. It's just it isn't reliable. The downside to a tank commander is you have to take it as a squadron. It can't be a single tank. It has to be a tank commander in his tank, and then it has to take 1 and up to 2 additional Lehman Russes as basically a bodyguard. So me wanting to have Pask, I was going to maximise on that. I'm thinking be silly and run 3 Punishers, 1 with Pask, and then just blaze away 60 shots a turn, 20 of them rending, the rest at strength 5. It'll kill anything it shoots at generally, as long as if you can get prescience on it. Which the next big thing I've noticed Guard have got is Primaris Psychers are awesome. They used to be a HQ, and I think they were 100 points as a HQ, and they weren't very good because they didn't have a lot of access to any decent psychic powers. They were Biomancy, Telepathy, and Pyromancy off the top of my head. This is a lot of... I haven't got the old codex on me. I've literally just picked this up at the weekend. And it wasn't great. 100 points was well too expensive for it. It was a level 2, but compared to any other psyche you could bring Courtiers for 100 points. And he didn't take up any Force Org, and gave you Prescience, and a guy in power armor, so it was more survivable, and then Thunderhammer if he ever got into combat. So at that point it was just easy to take Courtiers. The way I'm looking at it is, the big change to them was they are no longer a HQ. You can't bring them as a HQ. They are very now like Tech Priests used to be, I think, where they don't take a Force Org and you can take up to 3 of them, which is great. And they drop to 50 points, but are only level 1. But you can upgrade them to a level 2 if you want, for it, make them 75 points, so they are cheaper. And the big thing is they now get Prescience, not Prescience, Divination, which is awesome. I can easily see people going, whatever points value you're playing at, let's say I'm playing 2k, I'm playing 1850, because you'll bring 3 of them and be like, they'll join, 1 stick with your tanks, giving them prescience, 1 will stick with your heavy weapons and give them prescience, 1 will stick with the platoon, and again, giving them prescience. And it's across the board great. The way I'm thinking of running it is, again, with the whole idea with Paskin his 2 Punisher bodyguards, which is a little bit silly. I don't think it's not competitive, it's silly. But I really wanted to run it back when I played Guard, and I really want to do it now. Now it's been better. And then take 3 Psychers, split them off so they're all within 24 inches of Pask's unit, but not together so they could be they're clustered up and get killed all together. And just keep throwing prescience on them. Because that negates the whole problem of Punishers being BS3 and gives Pask a bonus, so generally he'll hit majority of the time. And it just blaze away. It's awesome. It's really silly. I was doing the math for it and it was like, Pask on his own could probably kill with rending. He could probably force about 9 armor saves, and then 2 additional ones, which would be the rending on average, which was like, that's pretty good. Going against something like a biker squad, which seems to be prevalent with Space Marines, that seems really great. And against a horde, 3 Punishers go blazing away at 30 Orcs. And if the advantage to a Primary Psyker is each one of them, if you only take level 1, you roll all 3 and go, whichever one gets ignores cover, I can't remember what the power's called, perfect timing. You stick him with Pask again and and you just literally roll the 3, and like if you get it, it isn't necessary because again 60 shots will do the damage anyway. Get perfect timing on them. That starts being very scary. Nids will hate it. Tau would hate it. Eldar would definitely hate it. Orcs would hate it because with all 3 of those armies, you could start blazing away at jet bikes for Eldar, and they don't get the Jink. Tau behind their Aegis wouldn't get it, and they'd be shredded at toughness 3. Orcs wouldn't like it because you'd negate the custom force field. So those dirty boys will now be taking massed shots and just be dead on the spot. It'd be amazing. I'm planning on doing a more. That was just general first read through what I thought. If people are wanting it, I'll think about doing a full review of it and I'll go through stage by stage. But other than that, I'll let you go. Comment, rate, subscribe, all that business, and I'll see you in the next one.